Hello there, Sorry from 17 once again. This is my God Hand hard difficulty, no damage fun run. We're on 6-6 and it's called Whip It. And it is easy to say that this is probably one of the hardest levels in the game. And it has no checkpoint, guys. You have to do a sequence of about 4 to 5 fights that are all multi-enemies, and difficult environments even more so. And it all culminates in incredibly demanding God Hand gameplay. But it's a lot of fun too. But that being said, it goes wrong so quickly, so willfully quickly. And I didn't really want to use the movesets that I had on at the moment, but I kind of went with it because I couldn't be asked to change them. So you'll notice I'm going to be doing a lot of hand plant kick, which really saved my ass because that move is completely broken against these kind of enemies. You're going to be seeing me doing a lot of the charge punch, a lot of the high side kick, and for the most I'm going to be in survival mode because it's difficult to be too stylish here because it is so very difficult. But this phase right now is going to be a bunch of the ladies after that initial battle. We're going to be dividing them, kicking them, getting some interesting lock on right there to knock them away. And I was hoping I could get that to work, but alas she was on the ground and I wasn't in the best position for it, so it didn't. And then there's two guys going to be running at us now, two of the standard guys. One of them has a piece of wood. They're going to be coming just here. So I start charging the punch with hopes of knocking one up and getting rid of his buddy, but it doesn't quite work that way. So I use the backflip to launch him. The backflip is really good for launching, but it's one of those where it's incredibly slow and it's really easy to get counter hit while you do it, so you have to understand its limitations before you go too crazy with it. And then he starts doing his standard spinning around with his big stick, and we have none of that. And then we know there's a demon going to spawn because this is the first level in a long time where the demon is back in rotation. So you're generally going to get a demon here. You're very lucky if you don't. And I end up getting a blade demon. I was getting blade demons and spiky demons, so it seems like it's probably the more popular demon in this section. And all I'm going to do is be very defensive against him, wait for him to set himself up so I can do some good damage, and then try my best to deal as much high damage as quickly as possible to get rid of him. Nothing too fancy here because no checkpoint means I can't really do the stuff I'd like to do here. This is definitely a level for save states, because with save states you can have a lot more flexibility to get exactly what you want. And that's the reason you see a lot of people using weapons. If you've ever wondered why when you see people do this level, a lot of them use all the weapons that are available, it's because it goes fast, it goes wrong so quickly, like so fast, so easy to die. It is a real nightmare. And it's this next room that's the big killer of people, I think, because not only do you have the lanky elite with the spiky arms, who you don't see that often, and he's got a bucket load of HP and all kinds of moves that ruin your day, but he has elite women with him at some points, normal women with him, and a woman with a whip. Each woman has the ability to do that jumping grab, which they can do through geometry, they can do through enemies, they can do really close, really good distance. It's like a whole host of real bad stuff happening. So I'm going to be using a combination of pretty much everything I can to get through this sequence here. And it's just hard, guys. Like, I put a video up last night because I didn't have any videos, unfortunately. My balls deep's all fucked up, so I didn't have anything to show. So when I was recording this, I took some of the outtakes from it and shared it just to show you how quickly the game fucks you, essentially. Because in this video, you're not going to see me get hit. That is not a good accurate representation of God Hand. God Hand is a game where you will rarely go battles without taking damage, and if you do, you should feel really good about yourself because it's a game designed to completely mercilessly murder you. This is one of those titles where the enemies are constantly trying to kill you the entire time, 100%. They do not stop. They just come to try and kill you, and to survive that is an achievement in itself. But then to survive it being fancy and using certain suboptimal techniques is even crazier. I had full intentions here of changing my entire moveset, but then I remember every time I go into the menu like this, I like to keep it in the video to show you what I'm changing, and I'm not the fastest guy at changing moves, so it kind of wastes time and it kills the momentum of the videos. And it'd be easy to edit it out, but I kind of want to keep it in here so that the people following this who want to imitate what I'm doing can have some kind of idea of where I'm changing and what is changing. And there are certain parts where you don't see it, but I've kept in some parts. Especially this one, because I was nervous at this point. I really don't like this fight. And it's not that it's a badly designed fight, I just think that the arena and how many enemies they want you to kill without any kind of checkpoint is kind of preposterous. Like, in my opinion, I think some of those cutscenes of the enemies jumping down should have been checkpoints. Maybe 1 or 2, you don't have to go nuts, but just something to give the player an area to fall back on. And it would have made it much more manageable, but as it stands, this is going to get really hectic really fast. So I kick away the main threat, I launch her quickly into a nice kick, into the wall, pick up the weapon. From here I'm going to break the weapons so they don't pick them up. He comes back and gets counter hit with another side kick. There's another broken weapon and a dead girl. Here's him bouncing up into the air, into the launch, knocking her away, and here comes the elite lady who is a pain in the dick. So I slap her in the mouth. I'm going to punch her until they get close, and before they hit me I'm going to go into the spanking. You want to mash the spanking to get max damage, and immediately coming out of this I'm probably going to God Hand because I'm vulnerable. The reason I did that is because there's no guarantee that I can get away from that situation without being hit. That's the only reason I went into God Hand then. I'm comfortable that I can do this fight without it because I've done it without it, but it's just one of those cases where coming out of certain animations, when you have enemies behind you and no idea to know how close they are, you are vulnerable. That's why just then I used the iframe extension in the uppercut and I immediately ran away, because I knew if I didn't, I'm going to take an attack from behind and all of this is done. And if I die now after all of that, I would have been really disappointed. And then I see him with the Cobra Twist and I know I can end this guy, because after this, you can exploit his AI if he's not dead, but he was dead, and it immediately triggers a cutscene, and then it shows the men coming down off of the statue where they were being whipped, off of the station, sorry, the like Conan moving cog thing, and then we get to pick up the items, and there's actually a bunch more fights of this level left, but because I didn't want to do it again because the aforementioned terrible checkpoints, I'm going to skip all the fights coming up in this next area and go straight to the door. And I feel like I've earned it, you know. I can fight these guys one-on-one, it's not a problem, it's not the most fun environment to fighting, but after all of that, I just didn't want to risk it. So let's just get to the end and get it done. This was easily one of the hardest videos in this series to make. It didn't take me the longest time, it might have took me like an hour, something like that, but it feels like an eternity when you're getting beaten up, it really does. So many resets, but thank you for watching, I hope you like the series, and you take care now.